chairs for me and placed it beside hers, so we sat in a small circle. The room was clean and full of the homely clutter of everyday living. I guessed Faye and her grandparents had lived here for a long time. As I sat down, I saw Faye snatch another glance at me, and I smiled reassuringly. With her small, round face and petite features, she had the classic look of a person with fetal alcohol syndrome. It gave her a childlike appearance, yet there was also an elderly quality about her, especially in her mannerisms. Her posture and the way her hands were folded in her lap mirrored that of her gran, which was probably a result of Faye's reliance on her and having spent so much time with her. "Cathy has come here so you can get to know her a little before you go and stay with her," Becky said positively to Faye. Her tone was gentle and conciliatory, as one might use for a child, although it wasn't patronizing. "I think it would be a good idea if we asked Cathy to tell us a bit about where she lives and her family, don't you?" Faye nodded and stole another shy glance at me. "Over to you, then," Becky said, smiling at me. I was expecting this and had come prepared. "I've brought some photographs to show you," I said brightly. "That's a good idea," Becky enthused. Dipping my hand into my bag, I took out the small photograph album I'd compiled some years before. I usually took it with me to show the child and their family if the move to me had been planned in advance, but if the child came into care as an emergency, I didn't have this opportunity, as they just arrived on my doorstep with their social worker. I opened the album at the first page and passed it to Faye. She immediately passed it to her gran, partly so that all three of them could see, but also, I thought, passing on the responsibility. "The photograph on the left shows the front of our house," I began. "There is a small garden at the front and a much bigger one at the rear." I knew the sequence of photographs in the album off by heart from having used it many times before. The photograph on the right was taken in the hall. You can see our coat stand, where we hang our coats, and our shoes beneath. I paused while they looked, and then Wilma turned the page. Becky was leaning forward for a look too. "The picture on the left is the front room, and the one on the right is of the back room. That's the one we use most. That's where the television is." I paused again as they looked at these two photographs, and then turned the page. "There's the kitchen," I said, "and then the next photo is outside in the back garden. You can see my family sitting on the patio. Faye, I think they're waving at you, aren't they?" Faye gave a small smile as she studied the photo. This picture was recent, and my family were posed, waving and smiling, as though welcoming our new arrival. "From left to right is my son Adrian, then my daughters Lucy and Paula. Can you see anyone else in the picture?" Faye nodded and pressed her forefinger on the image. "A cat," she said, pleased. "Yes, that's right. He's called Sammy. We used to have a cat called Tosha, but she grew very old and died. Sammy is only 2. We haven't had him long. He's from a rescue centre." "That's nice," Becky said encouragingly. "You like cats, don't you, Faye?" Faye gave a small nod and flashed me another cautious smile, then returned her attention to the photographs. The photographic tour continued upstairs with pictures of our bathroom and bedrooms. There were about 20 photographs in all, and every so often Wilma would say something like, "That's nice," and Stan would nod, while Faye looked at the pictures very carefully, taking it all in. Doubtless she was overwhelmed by all the changes she was about to face, as most children are before they come into care. These photographs would hopefully help to reassure and prepare her, so that when she arrived, my home and family wouldn't be completely strange to her. The last photograph was of what would soon be Faye's bedroom, and she peered at it closely. "It'll look better once you have your belongings in there," I said. I'd taken the photograph between one child leaving and the next arriving. It was a comfortable room, but plain, without personal possessions, and decorated in neutral colours.